What are the ongoing debates about the National Banking Act? What are the ongoing debates about the National Banking Act of 1863? This topic is quite fascinating, as it touches on the heart of America's financial system during a tumultuous time. The National Banking Act was passed during the American Civil War to create a system of nationally chartered banks and establish a national currency backed by government bonds. While it aimed to address urgent economic challenges, debates about its implications have continued for years. One major discussion revolves around federal versus state control of banking. The act shifted banking authority from state governments to the federal government. Critics argue that this change was designed to eliminate state banks by forcing them to convert into national banks or stop issuing currency. This raised concerns about federal overreach and the loss of state control over financial matters. On the other hand, supporters believed that centralizing banking was necessary to create a stable system, replacing the confusing mix of state banknotes that existed before. Another key debate focuses on the uniformity and stability of currency. Before the act, the United States had a chaotic mix of local banknotes with different values, which complicated commerce. The act aimed to standardize money, making it easier to conduct business across state lines. However, some regions, especially in the East, resisted this change, as they were accustomed to their local banking practices. Meanwhile, areas in the West often welcomed the national currency as a much-needed improvement. The impact on state banks and local economies is also a significant point of contention. The act required national banks to purchase government bonds as security before issuing currency. This requirement helped fund the war but tied banks closely to federal fiscal policy. Some state banks saw this as a burden, fearing they would lose business or be forced to shut down. The transformation of many state banks into national banks intensified worries about the economic consequences for communities that relied on these institutions. Additionally, there are debates about the economic and political motivations behind the act. While it was clear that funding the war was a priority, some critics argue that the act also served to concentrate financial power in the federal government and benefit certain banking interests, particularly in the North. Lastly, discussions continue about the long-term effects of the National Banking Act on the banking system. It laid the foundation for modern American banking, but questions remain about how it influenced the balance between national and state banking systems and the role of government in regulating currency. Some view the act as a step toward a stronger national economy, while others see it as a move that marginalized local banks and increased federal control. These ongoing debates reflected the challenges of unifying a divided nation's economy during the Civil War and the lasting tensions between centralized authority and local autonomy in American banking.